Okay, good afternoon, and thank all of you for coming to our regular board meeting Tuesday, March 26, 2019. We're now officially open for business. We will have our Pledge of Allegiance by Mrs. Holly Pickens, and I do not see Reverend Matthews.
So you'll give the invocation?
I'm trying to see. I see Brother Oxendine. He can fuss with me later. I'm going to ask you if you will do the invocation for us when that time, after our Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
If you would bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you for this opportunity to come together, God, and reason, God. We ask you right now to bless this occasion. Bless the school board members. Bless everybody that's present here today, God, and those that are on the way. We thank you, God, and we ask you to bless the school district and the city of Palatka and the county of Putnam County. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
Sandy will put something.
I know in person. He's good. He's good. Okay, at this time, we will have our presentation, and since two of our wrestlers need to get back and finish preparation for weightlifting, we're going to ask our wrestling coach if you will come and present to us those two young men. And talk about your season for us, what they've done. Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Josh White. I'm the head wrestling coach at Palatka High School. I was kind of hoping my assistant coach would make it here, Elijah Campbell, because I want to give him the big shout out this year for the success the team's had. As I was doing most of the paperwork, he was yelling. He was doing most of the yelling. That's why I can still talk. So usually I'm the one that can't talk because I'm doing all the yelling. A little background on wrestling for some of you guys don't know about wrestling. Started at late October with about the same time basketball guys did, with conditioning, and then we just ended our season 2 weeks ago at the state wrestling tournament. So it's a long season. It's a grind. Practices were anywhere between 2 to 3 hours long. The guys would never stop moving. It got smelly, even though we're in a bigger room. We used to be in a room smaller than this. Now we're in a room just a little bit larger than this, and it's still very hot. The heater's always running because the biggest thing in wrestling is making weight. As one of them's got to make weight tomorrow again for weightlifting. As a team, we have a small team compared to most teams. We had 7 guys wrestling most of the year. But I would say we had, you guys agree with me, 90% wins on those 7 guys. All right, so basically we may have won the matches, but we won head-to-head, we would have won. So if we erased all the forfeits that we had to give up, we'd win every match. If we had more kids, we could probably win every match. That'd be great. But that being said, they really worked hard this year. They really came along, and here's the big thing. No seniors. Everybody's back next year. Okay, no seniors. So we should have an exemplary year next year. If they keep themselves healthy, keep themselves out of trouble, eat properly. I'm staring at one of them because he knows who I'm talking about. It should be a different story. We should see these two again next year at state, hopefully placing. When I say hopefully placing, Ontarius Reed, he's the shorter of the two at 120 pounds, misplacing by, come on up here, Ontarius. Come up here, Drayvon. I can talk to you guys. Ontarius misplacing at the state tournament by 1 match.
Oh.
So that's what they call the blood round. That's where you either you win or you're done. And just didn't pull it off, but I'll tell you right now, it's been a long time since we've had guys get this deep in the season. We have guys get there. I'll start with Drayvon here real quick. Drayvon, raise your hand. He's a 126-pounder. Was supposed to be a 120-pounder this year, but didn't quite get there. He was injured, and I think what hurt him the most, he was injured at the beginning of the season for the first half of the season, so he only has a 25-12 record. So he didn't wrestle as many matches as some of the guys that he went up with that had 50 matches under their belt. Okay, so there's a lot of experience there. He played 1 district, placed second at regionals. All right. got beat at state, but hey, we're going to come back in the year, next year. State guys, you lost to the guy that placed third. He placed third or second? I'm talking to you, Trayvon.
My dude plays six.
Hmm?
He plays six.
Sixth?
I lost him here.
Okay, I thought he placed. Anyhow, he cost the guy that placed sixth, so I mean, he's right there. Basically, he's the top 8. I mean, you're in the top 8 when you get there. And he did a great job. I think if we have a full season next year, I want to see a medal on his chest from states next year. Definitely see a medal on his state. And then Ontarius was supposed to be our 26-pounder, ended up being our 20-pounder. I don't know how this worked. They just back and forth here. Ontarius is our district champ. Won regionals. He destroyed everybody, pinned everybody at regionals. I don't know if you guys seen the videos on YouTube.
Yes.
Look at them. They're pretty exciting, pretty quick. And then he went 2-2 at state. The 2 guys you lost to were 3rd and 5th place finishers. Yeah, so he lost to the 3rd and 5th place finishers. So, I mean, these guys are right there on the edge. And I've been more, don't tell Brian and Ira this, okay? I've been more excited about these 2 this year at states than I have been in years past because they're in the right place and I knew they had it. I knew they were on top. It came down to one mistake. For each one of these guys, came to one mistake. It wasn't like, oh, I'm outclassed and I'm just going to get beaten. There's no way around it. It came down to one mistake for both of these guys. So I say we get rid of that one mistake. We got state placers right here easily.
It's a battle.
Thank you very much.
Can we get a picture?
Felicia,
Picture, coach.
get their picture.
Josh,
Sandy, you want to get down there with
there?
her? Greg?
You know I like sports. I'm all over the sports.
He'll stay on this side, so I'm on the short side. There you go. He'll make me look
I'm gonna get in between you so I can.
There you go, there you go.
There you go. Okay, you go on the side then, we'll be here in a minute.
Okay, then we'll do this. That'll work. All right.
You gotta watch Gilliard. She'll try to take over the show. I still wanna see them pin Charlie, don't you?
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, Coach, thank you. Okay, our next presentation also from Palatka High School. We're gonna call Coach Oxendine. Coach Ox, if you will come up and bring your coaches with you and your team when you're ready.
Oh, what an exciting season.
Who's this young fella you got with the badge?
I don't know. I picked him up on the way here. First of all, let me thank the school board for calling us down and to recognize our team this year and to recognize these young men for all the hard work that they put in. Thank you so very much. And I asked our young men not to take for granted that somebody thinks enough of you to call you down before a meeting like this and say we're proud of you. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever take that for granted. All right, with that being said, let me first of all, let me give honor to God because we couldn't have had a season that we've had and the success that we've had without him. That's first. Secondly, let me thank my coaching staff, Coach Shaw, Coach Walter, Coach Leonard, they're not here now, Coach Bly, Coach Mulberry, and Coach Royster. Let me thank those guys because without those guys, you know, I couldn't do all this by myself. I'm so grateful for them. Now, as I call them up, I'm just gonna call them up as they're sitting.
Coach, before you call them up, excuse me for interrupting, would you tell us about your season, how impressive it is?
Yes, ma'am, I was gonna do that, but I was gonna call
You're
them
gonna
up
do it
first.
your way. All right, I feel you, I feel you.
Gilliard.
Go ahead.
She does me the same way.
All right.
You gotta watch her, Coach.
That's all right, Ms. Gilliard, I understand.
We know each other.
Yeah, we do. First, let me call up.
Try that.
First of all, let me call up Spencer Walker Jr. Tim Hunter, sophomore. Wesley Roberts Jr. Aquarius Felder Senior. Deshaun Shaw Jr. Jimmy Williams, freshman. Bernari Johnson, sophomore. Malik Buford, junior. And we have some guys that are not here. Senior Mitchell McKinnon, senior Wydante Smith, sophomore Ahmad Fields, freshman Jamar Brown. Who else? I think that about covers it. Let me say I'm so proud of these young men not just for this season, but for those who have been here for the last couple of years, for the body of work that they have actually put in. And putting up with an old grouchy coach like me, that takes something. But we 2018-19 season, we came in, we started conditioning at the end of September. And when we say conditioning, we don't pick up a ball. We go outside in the heat of the sweat and we run. We run. We have what we call a journey at Palaca High School. And if you mention it to any student, they know what it is. It separates those who think they want to play from those who really want to play. We do that for approximately 6 weeks. We just run. And then we go in the gym and we begin to work. And we work. I'll say this, and without trying to be immodest, I don't think there's nobody around that outworks Palaca High Panther basketball boys. I don't think that. I don't believe that. Starting out this season, we had great expectations coming into the season. As you know, we've been a state finalist, Final Four for the last 2 years in a row, and I had no less expectation this year going into the season. But I know it will be a Herculean task, because once you establish yourself in the basketball world as being that type of program, then you have a target on your back, and everybody's coming with their A game every night, which I tried to convey to these guys. But with their hard work and dedication, we wound up having a record of 25-5 this year. Thank you. We were undefeated in our district, 8-0. We won our district tournament for the third year in a row to be district champions for unprecedented 3 straight years in a row. That's never happened in Palaca High basketball. So we were grateful for that. We played in the state playoffs. We won the first round. We won the second round against Vaughan Eastside, which were 26-2 and ranked number 2 in the state. And we went down there and we were victorious because these young men believed in each other and believed in the program, and they did great. We lost in the regional finals, but we were regional runner-up. And I know, and these guys don't understand it, but there's only going to be one happy team at the end of all of it.
Yeah.
There's only going to be one. But what a great season that they had, representing the city of Palaca, themselves, their families, and Palaca High School. I am so very proud of them. And we're losing 3 seniors, but the rest are coming back. And so we look forward to continued success. What me and my coaches have done is we put a process in to where we just keep building, and hopefully the program will continue to sustain the level of success that we've worked towards for years to come. I'm so proud of these guys. I'm proud of the city of Palaca. I'm proud of Palaca High School. I'm proud of the Putnam County School District for having us here today. Thank you so very much.
Look at the kids in the community that are learning and want to be just like them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They want to be just like you guys, and just bear that in mind. They're going to want your autographs, your T-shirt, whatever you got. You guys are heroes.
I would just like to say that y'all gave a lot of exciting moments, especially
Never a
Ms.
dull
Gilliard.
moment.
Yes, I mean,
Never.
watching y'all is just the most exciting thing. But what a lot of people don't realize is that y'all have to maintain a certain GPA to even play.
Absolutely.
And you have to have a really good discipline record to even play, because I know Coach does not play when it's disciplined.
Why y'all looking at me?
So, there's more than one reason to be proud of y'all. Not
Yes.
just because you're great on the basketball court, but you're great guys.
You are.
And like Mr. Buckles said, those kids, I watched them. I would watch. There was another little kid that went to a lot of the games named Malik. And honey, he watched you play like nobody's business. And they're looking up at y'all and they want to be just like you. So keep being good examples of how young men are supposed to be.
How many of you guys went through Dr. Finlater's North Point Youth
Oh,
Program?
yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah.
All
Look at
right.
that, look at that.
Yeah.
Because that man was crazy at every game watching y'all. He
Yeah.
was.
He's helped establish them, you know, great
Absolutely.
young men spiritually
Yeah, absolutely.
through the use of basketball. And
Yeah.
so kudos to that, to what he's done, and kudos to you, Coach, for continuing that.
These
Well,
kids,
thank you.
Shaw, you are just as cute as your daddy.
they will be idle. He's a lot better looking than his daddy.
Well, let me say thank you, Ms. Crawford, Mr. Cerncy, and all the school board for understanding that these are fine young men, not just on the basketball court, because they're held to a higher standard and a greater expectation.
And that's because of you demand it.
Well, we know we don't get in trouble in school, we don't get in trouble out of school, and we maintain our GPAs because there's more to life than basketball, and it has to be life after basketball.
Right
So that's
now,
what we're looking for.
basketball's
But right now, basketball is important, but it's not the most important thing. We want good citizens, and that's what these guys are.
Coaches, we thank you all
Thank y'all so much for coming.
Thank y'all.
You do.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, Sandy
Madam
gets a
Chair?
picture.
Enjoy them. We gotta do some squishing down, right?
These guys are bigger than they look. They're just in good shape.
And I hear all the time how much their teachers love them,
Well, guys in the front just kind of good, I mean,
especially Wes.
oh, yeah. They need a little bit. Come on, they still work.
Forrest Gump.
I can get away with that, you guys can't.
Sandy up there hugging them.
Wrong.
Thank y'all.
Well, you're kind of weird.
I cried all the way through that thing. It was
That doesn't surprise me.
Great presentation.
their taste of sweet potatoes. Purple sweet potatoes.
I love sweet.
I gotta do something real quick. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your meeting.
It's all right.
But I just thought about something. We couldn't do this without Ms. Lisa Thomas. I mean, she's our booster. She does everything for our program. I would be remiss, and I had to say it. Yeah, she's an amazing woman, and I just thank God for her.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying that.
And since you brought up Miss Lisa Thomas, she is being recognized by our sorority on Saturday as one of the 5 pearls. And a pearl is a person in the community that goes above and beyond the call of duty and does not get compensated monetarily. And so she will be recognized Saturday
that's
as a
great.
Zeta Phi Beta sorority pearl. And we love her too and are proud of her. Thank you. Yeah, I will.
Did you say Ada Tater Pie? Oh, Zeta Pi Beta? Did you need these?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Bud took them all.
But, okay. All right, we are done with our presentations. At this time, we are now open for our public hearing. We have 4 items that have been pulled. Board members, if you will circle those. We're pulling item number 1, number 5, number 8, and number 10.
Pulling that we're not even voting on them.
Right.
Okay.
We're pulling those. Okay, so we are now ready.
Madam Chairman,
Adoption of policy number 8805, model policy on religious expressions in schools.
District, any
do you want to do
discussion?
roll call, or do you just want to do it as a?
We're gonna have some discussion on some
Yeah,
of
yeah.
them.
Mhm. So discussion first.
Okay.
Okay, so as we get to them, right? So we're ready now for policy number 8805. I need a
I
motion.
make a motion, we approve.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Crawford. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Nay, 5-0. The vote. Okay? Amendment to policy number 0165.3, special meetings.
I make a motion that we accept this policy.
I second.
Been moved by Mrs. Crawford, second by Mrs. Pickens, that we accept the special meeting policy. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? 5-0. Motion carries. Amendment to policy number 1140, suspension or dismissal of administrators.
Make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Crawford. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Remember, number 5 was pulled. We go to amendment to policy number 2623, student assessment.
I'll make a motion that we accept policy number 2623.
A second.
Been moved by Mrs. Crawford, second by Mr. McInnes.
When do we have
Is
discussion?
this the one where you want
Yeah,
to discuss?
there's a couple, when do
Once
I?
you have a second, and you open to the discussion.
Okay,
But have we gotten to any
We've
of them
got a
yet that
motion
you
and a
want to
second.
talk about?
okay. When we get to those, you.
This is one, though.
Oh, this is one, okay, on student assessment, okay, all right, it's been moved and second, all right?
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
This is my question, maybe to Ms. Huff. The industry certification for an FLVS student, does the district pay for that? It didn't specify, it just said that they were able to take the test, so does the district pay for that, or do?
The student would pay for that.
Okay, because it's not specified in there, who pays for it?
And it doesn't
They're
say,
not part of the district schools.
Well, don't our students, I mean, a lot of times I know Ms. Sauls raised money so they could take it, so,
The students are required to pay for half, and the or their program pays for half
Oh, okay.
if you're part of our school.
but an FLVS student would not qualify for the district paying for half.
Correct.
Does it need to specify that in the policy?
Well, this policy has been updated by Neil and be congruent with state law, so, I mean.
But now that, I think you just wanted clarification, and so now she has that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're ready to vote, all in favor? Aye. Opposes? Motion carries 5-0. All right. We are now with amendment to policy number 3140, suspension or dismissal of instructional staff.
I make a motion that we approve.
a second.
Moved by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor, let it be known aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries 5-0. Remember, we pulled number 8. Amendment to policy number 4162, drug and alcohol testing of CDL license holders and other employees who perform safety-sensitive functions.
I'll make a,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we accept policy number 4162.
A second.
All right, motion by Mrs. Crawford, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries.
I'm
You
going
with
to
the
say
aye.
it.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. All right, we pulled item number 10. Number 11, copy of amendment to policy 5112, entrance requirements.
I make a motion we approve.
A second.
All right, motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes? All right, motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 5113, school choice options provided by No Child Left Behind.
I make a motion that we accept policy number
Second.
5113.
I second it.
All right, moved by Mrs. Crawford, second by Mr. Buckles. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 5200, attendance. All in, oh,
I make a motion that we accept this policy number
ready.
5200.
I second it.
all right, moved by Mrs.
Yeah, discussion.
After the second. All right, we're now open for discussion.
Okay, I'm just questioning, there are several places where that states 5 unexcused absences within a month, and then it says 5 unexcused absences within a 45-day period. And are we going to,
Needs to be clarified.
well,
Which one are the?
I thought the graduation initiative are we going to enforce this? That's my question.
Well, it would be up
Who
to
from the
Mr.
district?
Bowen, are you available to?
Yeah.
I'm available, but I'm.
These are our policies, and they'll have to be enforced by our personnel.
But why is it different? What's?
One, I think, may have to do with truant, and one has to do with absences.
I didn't know you were gonna pull this ahead of time, so
Well, Mr.
let me grab.
Mr. Hester.
Let me grab Travis.
Okay.
He's still kind of over truancy, and
Okay.
I know it's in policy, but sometimes current
If
practice.
it makes you feel better, they left a T out of attendance, I believe. Ms. Crawford could tell us that.
Yeah, she didn't catch that.
No, I did not.
She called it, but she's not.
Oh, on the agenda or in the
The
policy?
agenda.
On entrance?
Says ATENDE.
Oh, yeah, that really looks bad. Thank you.
The policy makes allowances for a lot of things that happen with the kids. So it's-
Travis is coming, but he's kind of like me. You know what we're currently. I would say what's in policy is what we're going to go by.
For the rest of the year, anyway.
Yeah. So if there's any kind of deviation from policy, we need to know about it. But, you know, we kind of accept it as is.
wanna
You have a
you wanna
different
read to clarify
interpretation
the
of that?
part you won't clarify, Holly?
Well, my thing, it says 5 unexcused absences,
Travis.
and that, or an absence that's unknown. And then, in a month, or a 90-day period, I just want to know is it 5 for a 9 weeks period, or is it for a semester?
Whatever the grading
or-
period, it appears to me like it's whatever's considered the grading period.
Yeah, it's 5 within 30 or 15 within 90.
And that's considered truant, or
Habitual truant's if you hit the threshold of 15 and 90.
15 and
If
90?
you hit the
Yes.
5-day
Yes,
mark
it
though,
is.
that's what triggers the intervention process, the
Okay.
level 3 intervention process.
Okay.
And then once you go through all of the interventions and everything, that's where it could end up resulting in, if they meet the 15 within a 90, in going to either, depending on the situation, either civil process through the court system or criminal charges on the parent,
Or both,
or
Okay.
both.
or both, yeah.
Okay.
15 and the 90.
Satisfying.
Yes.
Mrs. Pickens,
Whose laptop
are we
is
okay?
this?
Yeah. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you all for helping us with that. Okay? All right, we're ready to vote. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries 5-0. All right, amendment to policy number 5460, graduation requirements.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we approve policy number 5460.
A second.
Motion by Mr. McInnes, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposes? Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 5780, student parent rights.
Move approval?
A second.
All right, motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries 5-0. Number 16, amendment to policy number 6233, district budget.
I'll make a motion that we accept policy number 6233.
Second it.
All right, motion by Mrs. Crawford and second by Mr. McInnes. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes? Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 6320, purchasing and contracting for commodities and contractual services.
Move to approve.
Second. Go ahead.
All right, moved by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes? All right, motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 6322, construction, contracting, and bidding.
This is important, but I don't need to discuss it. I think it helps clarify what we've got to do to comply with law. I don't see Mr. Chastain here, but I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor? Aye. Opposes? Motion carries 5-0. All right. Amendment to policy number 6325, procurement.
Procurement of,
Oh, that's a P. Okay. Procurement, federal grants and funds.
I make a motion that we accept the amendment to policy 6325.
Second it.
All right, motion by Mrs. Crawford, second by Mr. McInnes. All in favor? Aye. All right, opposes? None. Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 6610, internal accounts.
I move approval.
I second.
All right, motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor? Aye. Opposes? None. Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 8141, mandatory reporting of misconduct.
I have not personally read this update, but I'm certain that it'll have the leeway in that if, to use common sense and good judgment. So I'm going to make a
And it
motion
said
to approve.
investigating, yes.
Investigating.
Thorough investigation, yes.
I'll second it.
All right, motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Crawford. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposes? None. Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 8462, student abuse, abandonment, and neglect.
Move approval.
Second that.
All right, motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mr. McInnes. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes, same, well, no opposes. Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 8500, food service programs.
I make a motion to accept the amendment to policy 8500.
I second.
Okay, Holly,
All right,
second.
motion by Mrs. Crawford, second by Mrs. Pickens. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes, none. Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 8810, the American flag.
I move approval.
Second it.
All right, motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mr. McInnes. All in favor, known by aye. Aye. Opposes, none. Motion carries 5-0. Amendment to policy number 9270, home education programs.
I make a motion that we accept the amendment to policy 9270.
Seconded.
Motion by Mrs. Pickens, second by Mr. Buckles. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes, none. Motion carries 5-0. Final amendment to policy number 9800, charter schools.
I make a motion that we accept the amendment to policy number 9800.
Second it.
Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. McInnes. All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Opposes, none. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, I failed to make the comment earlier in regards to public comments, filling out the cards. Do we have any? All right, so we now move to our consent agendas.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion we approve the remainder of the consent agenda.
Are we going to get to say if we pull?
Yeah, all right,
Unless somebody has any items they want to pull.
all right, let's start. Mrs. Crawford, since you brought it up, do you want to pull it, E4? All right, let me circle that.
E4. What's next, Jane?
That's it for me.
E4.
All right, Mr. McInnes,
Nothing.
I might start off and then just defer to you.
Mr. Buckles,
I'm good.
Mrs. Pickens.
I'm good.
Okay, all right, can we get a motion for the ones that are here, and then we will,
I've already made a motion for the consent agenda minus E4.
all right? Do I get a
I'll second that.
All right, it's been motioned by Mr. Buckles, second by Mrs. Crawford, that we accept the consent agenda, all items except item E4. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposers? None. Motion carries 5-0. Now we're ready for discussion of item E4.
I just wanted to, an update on this invoice. I know that we had a contract with this corporation to do, you know, the work to sell the building. It ended up not happening through that venue. Did we end up paying the same amount that we contracted for? No.
Now, let me explain that. I'm gonna ask our board attorney to weigh in on this too. We did meet with the company. According to the contractual language, there were some costs involved in, you know, advertising the building and, you know, which goes with any kind of real estate organization. So we met with them after, yeah, it was a couple of years, and of course they did not end up selling it, but there were some contractual agreements in there. So we met with them, talked about the costs. We did have some concerns with some costs they brought up, and Mr. Douglas is in that negotiation, and he's more than welcome to add on anything I didn't mention. But this was negotiated, and I wanted to make sure that Mr. Douglas vetted all the things that they wanted as far as costs. Want to make sure that that was acceptable costs, and the invoice that you see reflects that the negotiation and both sides were happy with the outcome. So anything you want to add to that?
I don't have anything more to add. These were just a listing agreement required us to meet certain obligations for their out-of-pocket expenses, and this is the district upholding their legal obligations.
Well, and I just wanted to make sure we did our due diligence in paying what we owed him. I mean, he was really a nice guy, you know. It just didn't work out that he sold the building, so.
Yeah.
We have a contract, and
Yeah.
so we've got it cleaned up and cleared up, and I'm pleased with it.
Yeah, we honor that contract, and
Yes.
yeah, so it's in good faith.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you satisfied, Mrs.
Yes, I
Crawford?
make a
So,
motion. Okay. I make a motion that we accept the invoice of Benchmark Properties on the sale of the Campbell Building.
Second it.
All right, it's been motioned by Mrs. Crawford that we accept the invoice, item E4, and second by Mr. Buckles. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes, hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Okay. Okay, we're done with our consent agendas, and we move into emergency items. We do have one that has come before us, and we've all hopefully had an opportunity to look at it. It's the approval of revised English language learners, the ELL plan. Justification, explanation, time sensitive.
Madam Chair, I make a motion, we approve the emergency item for the ELL plan, English language learners, revised April 1st, 2019, because it is time sensitive to have it done by that point in time.
Yes, sir.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Mr. Buckles and second by Mrs. Crawford. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. Opposes, none. Motion carries 5-0. We are now out of emergency session. We have no discussion of unfinished business. Under discussion for new business, we have the consensus to advertise adoption of policies, starting with number 2215.
District 1,
Advertise.
District 2,
Advertise.
District 3,
Advertise.
District 4,
Advertise.
District 5.
Advertise.
Okay. Consensus to advertise adoption of policy number 8405.02.
Mr. Douglas.
District 1,
Advertise.
District 2,
Advertise.
District 3,
Advertise.
District 4,
Advertise.
District 5.
Advertise.
Okay. All righty. Now we will move to our reports from the board members, our attorney, and the superintendent. We're going to start with you, Mrs.
Will you start on the other end?
Okay, we'll start on the other end. All right, we'll start with you, Mrs. Pickens.
you know, it was spring break last week, so there wasn't a lot happening. But I did have the opportunity to go to James A. Long and watch the Jungle Book, that the little musical that they put on, and it was excellent. It was really, really good. I'd like to be able to someday help them with a little bit of their sound system because, you know, that would have made it a little more enjoyable. But it was great, and the parents were great. And Mr. McGinnis and I also, we spoke to the mother who came about the bomb threat. Her son goes to James A. Long, and he was in it. And she was so thankful. She was just happy. And very grateful for the drama program. So I'd just like to give them a shout out. That's
Okay,
it.
all right. James A. Long, thumbs up. Mr. Buckles?
I've enjoyed the sports programs that are going on between JV and varsity softball, the baseball going on across the county. And I certainly enjoyed watching the wrestlers today and the basketball team. And, you know, it is a very busy time of year. And I remember as a superintendent for years, it doesn't stop. The system does not sleep. I wanted to make a couple of comments on a few things that I've recently seen, and I've explained it to some folks recently. We've seen an article in the last few weeks in the Palaca Daily News on the health statistics of Putnam County and how bad we are rated in the state of Florida. That means we've got a disproportionate amount of people who cannot afford the most appropriate health care to live a higher quality of life, which also impacts their children, whether they've got a death in the family or someone who is sick, or if the child is ill themselves. Then, you know, and at the point I'm coming to here, it'll become pretty clear pretty soon. I saw the other wonderful article in the Palaca newspaper where 400 families had picked up groceries, which for years we had commodity foods that we distributed in Putnam County. And that's 400 families, 400.
Probably a lot more needed.
Not 4, it's not 40, it's 400. Our educators are up against some really steep odds. If the state were to go back to the old program that Frank Brogan ran when he was the elected Commissioner of Education, which we no longer have in Florida, Putnam County would be on top of the world statewide with what it does for the people it serves by the old high poverty high schools initiative. You know, and you listen to this one here and this one there talk about where you stack up. Does it mean we have a bad county, or our doctors are bad, or hospitals are bad because we have bad health statistics? No, doesn't mean that. Does it mean that our people can't find food, you know, or there are just not enough grocery stores? No, they're hungry. They can't afford it. And it does spill over into our schools, but I'm so proud that our teachers and administrators, bus drivers, every custodian, every cafeteria worker, each and every day, our administrators get up and they go to work and they love these kids and they do so many things to improve their lives, and it's just amazing. And with that, I wanted to mention that. I'm going to run over to the fair in a little bit and just look at some of our kids that are involved in some of the activities there. Looking forward to that, and I just can't say enough about, I think, where we've come with some of the graduation statistics that seem to be out there. I've heard, you know, I've been kind of up behind the scenes with some of the things that the superintendent has going in Tallahassee, and I look forward to some of our legislators up there helping us to help the people who live here with some great opportunities. I won't go into detail because when you do and it makes the paper, then other lobbyists try to kill what you're getting, and that's the way it works. So
Thank you.
with that, I'll be quiet. You can get rid of me.
No, I thought you were
I'm
closing
used
and I
to,
just, yeah.
I've known her so long, I'm used to her telling me what to do.
No, thank you, Mr. Buckles. All right, Mr. McInnes?
Okay. Okay. Holly failed to mention, Sandra and I and Holly attended the Putnam County Tax Collector Tag Awards, and it was a great turnout. I understand you can buy these tags. You can buy them personally, and the money stays in Putnam County, is what I understand. So you want to check that out. The young people did an awesome job. And Interlochen Elementary, I think, got a nice sized check for all the entries that they had from the tax collector's office. Attended the PHS IHS baseball game. Interlochen kept it really close until the end. It was a 6-4 loss, but it was a good crowd, and observed some students. There's the pitcher at Palaca High went to Interlochen, so there was a little bit of banter.
Clay.
Yeah, friendly banter, but they knew Clay, yeah, and he just got a scholarship too, so I want to congratulate him on that.
Absolutely.
Did attend the James A. Long, the Cambridge Landmark Research projects that were displayed at Beck, and wanted to mention this. Some of the projects were amazing. These third graders who come up with their research, and one young lady, I was just really tickled to hear that she wanted to grow up to be a chemist, and that struck dear to my heart because my dad was a chemist, and he managed the pool at the country club for years. So they had a lot of aspirations and dreams, and I hope she fulfills that. Also attended the Jungle Book, like Holly said. It's a great performance. And the terrific kids at Aquila Elementary, I got around a little bit this month.
Yeah, you did.
And I did happen to catch one of the band. It's called the Spring Music Extravaganza, and it was great. It was with the high schools. It's a great performance. I went to the one in the fall or around Christmas, and you can tell how much they have just improved. It's great. And I did want to put a plug in. April 13th, you have a chance, if you're a golfer, to attend the second annual IHS football golf tournament. You can contact Coach Matt Yancey. The phone number is 850-447-1710. And there was a presentation or a luncheon at the fair today, and they had the presentation of the purple sweet potatoes. And it was very good. The young men that did the whole presentation did a good job. But to mention that, I want to see that they planted potatoes in Interlochen High School, and I'm anxious to see how they're doing. And
The purple ones?
I don't know if they're purple or not.
Inside the high school?
On the farm.
You said in Interlochen.
At Interlochen High, and I'm anxious to see that. And I did happen to get by E.H. Miller, and I looked at the new playground by the Pilot Club, and it's awesome. There's some serious dollar weed out there. I figure in about 5 years it'll cover it, so we need to watch that. But other than that, and I appreciate all the people who sponsor all these, like the Tag Art and Beck, like I said, the Cambridge Research, the Landmark Research projects. It's awesome kind of community support.
Thank you so much, Mr. McInnes.
I haven't been quite as busy as Mr. McInnes because my spring break I spent in Rochester with my grandbaby, but I do want to tell you about some things. I've been on the board of directors for Putnam Project Lighthouse since its inception, and our goal is to provide tracking bracelets to every student who is in danger of elopement or wandering off, and Alzheimer's patients, the elderly. Well, they're not all elderly, and we've received a couple of grants, so we are in the process of purchasing more tracking bracelets, and we work in coordination with Putnam County Schools and the Putnam County Sheriff's Department. And we've seen a lot of success with our program. Our president of our board, Lee Porch, she's just astounding, the things that she's done with this program in Putnam County, and she's been asked to speak at presentations all over. So we're although she's not working presently for Putnam County School Board, we're still very lucky to have her in Putnam County. I have been to the fair, and I have seen more hogs, chickens, rabbits, goats, steer, you name it. They're all beautiful. The kids have worked so hard, but not just the kids. The parents have worked equally as hard, and, you know, to help them get those projects ready to show. The hog show is tonight. It starts at 6 o'clock. So if you don't have anything to do, come on out to the fairgrounds and watch them show their hogs. It's adorable. I mean, it's just really wonderful. The Ag Village. How did I never go through the Ag Village before, Renee? That's really a great thing. I went through it last night, Monday night, because I was hunting for Mandy, and so I really enjoyed
You're always
it.
buying cakes at the cake sale.
Well, that too, but I purchased from the 4-H or FFA, whatever. But these kids that have made these projects that are in the photography and the artwork and the crocheting and whatever it is, they are so proud of those things. I went in there the other night, and some of the kids were in there, and they said, did you see mine? Did you, and they take you over to look at it, and, they're just so proud that somebody besides their mother and their father and their teacher is looking at their artwork and recognizing everything they've done. So if y'all get an opportunity, we're very lucky in Putnam County that we still have a county fair. I mean, St. Johns County does a lot of wonderful things, but they don't have a county fair anymore. And we have invited them, Renee, correct me if I'm wrong, to participate in many of the animal projects.
And they also can do the home division or 4-H.
Yeah, so, we have that opportunity to partner with them on those things. It's just, we're very lucky in Putnam County. And the last thing I wanted to say, Bud already mentioned it, about the sweet tater tasting at the Civic Luncheon today. A family, the Steve and April Singleton family, if you don't know them, you're missing out on a wonderful family. I taught the dad, I'm not going to tell you how many years ago.
I taught the mom.
He made me tell his kids today that he was one of my favorite students.
Yeah, he was in class with me when you taught me too.
And he still is one of my favorite students. And he made me tell his kids that he always came to class prepared. He had always done his homework. And one of the boys said, "Are you kidding me?" And I said, "No, I'm not kidding you." But their older son, Stephen Singleton, was there also, and the two younger sons gave the Civic Luncheon presentation today, and they were adorable. But y'all, we've got so many wonderful kids in Putnam County. We are so blessed, and that we have these partnerships with the businesses and the agricultural community in Putnam County. But anyway, the Fair Week, I dread it sometimes, but it's a great week for our kids.
And both Singletons, the mother and father of Stephen, they were educators. Mary Singleton taught at Kelly Smith.
Really?
Yes, and the father taught at one of the schools and retired from education to go into farming. So that's how
probably taught when
Steve
Daddy was
got into it.
superintendent, yeah.
Yes, so they're farming
just
educators.
A quality family.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. And to the board members, I want to thank you personally for how you are out and about in our community, showing our students and our teachers that what they do is important and it does matter. I got an opportunity on Friday, March 15th, to meet at CeeLo with the Sisters, Helping Sisters. This is an organization wherein two of the ladies that are involved in it Mrs. Vivian Haynes, she taught at Jenkins forever and a day. She is now an amputee, but she gives of herself tirelessly. And Deborah Blackshear, that used to be the head of our maintenance department before her retirement, they are part of Sisters Helping Sisters. Well, at CeeLo, they had that stage stacked with gowns of every color, every size, every fashion, and they were new. These were not hand-me-downs. The way that they received the gowns, they said like Macy's may have gowns that they may not have sold in a couple of years, so they donate them to organizations that will use them. Our girls came in on buses, and they were allowed the opportunity to select. If they were a senior, they selected 2 gowns, one for the prom night and one for something else. And if they were in ROTC for graduation, you name it, they had it. I mean, beautiful. And that didn't end it for them. Once they got 2 gowns that they wanted, they tried them on, and they came out in the foyer of the auditorium, and they got a photo shoot, because this is what she would send to the company to say, yes, these girls are given these gowns. And so it was phenomenal. I've already mentioned Vivian Haynes and Deborah Blackshear, and Mrs. Courtney Carter is the one that contacted me and our sorority. We went there just to assist. Awesome. Tag art, kudos to Linda Myers, tax collector. We talked about tax collectors in our Sunday school lesson. She's nothing like Zacchaeus running down and getting the sycamore tree. She does a great work, and we appreciate what she does. Adopt a school. We have my sorority, we have adopted Mellon Elementary, and we met with Mrs. Weaver, and I want you to know she embraced us, we embraced her, and she has an awesome plan set forth for our sorority. We will be proctoring with them on Tuesday, April the 2nd. 5 of us, old retirees, every one of us came through this system. Lynn Roberts, Annette Fennell, Cynthia Asia, Regina, and myself. And we have adopted that school. Awesome. Then I want to commend QI Roberts for their drone team. It said they were 1 school selected out of 9 over the whole state of Florida. So they didn't, this is no small feat. And so I want to say kudos to them, and I hope all goes well on April the 5th. One final thing I want to mention, reading the paper, Palatka Daily News did an awesome coverage of one of our young athletes, Cyprell.
Yes.
Clay Cyprell. The kid only played football 1 year and got a scholarship to a college in Georgia. He's a big dude too.
Well,
if he had played
his mother was scared he'd get hurt. No, I'm kidding.
Anyway, our coaches, we thumbs up, because you're opening doors and avenues for our students to at least get an opportunity to see somewhere outside of Putnam County and then come back and become coaches here. And so that concludes mine. All right, Mr. Attorney.
Everything is wrong. Yes,
Charlie,
sir.
can I say one thing? I let it slip. I saw in the obituaries today, and I saw the other day, like a newspaper, where Jeannie Redmond had passed away, and I think she spent like 27 years maybe at Crescent City High School.
Oh, wow.
As a secretary down there, and a receptionist. And I think if you'll look in today's paper, you'll see that I think the service is going to be at Clayton Frank, maybe Saturday at
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. So I just wanted to mention that. She was a wonderful lady, and spent a lot of years riding herd on Miss Pickens here and making sure she showed up and worked okay.
Thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Buckles. I'm going to ask that in honor of Mrs. Redmond, and most especially to her family, let us have a moment of silence for that family. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us of that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Everything is going well in the legal department.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Attorney.
Have a
Mr.
few,
Superintendent.
Yellow sticky note.
yeah, a little sticky note, so bear with me for just a minute. Went to Tallahassee a couple weeks ago, met with superintendents. We actually heard from one of the parents of the Parkland tragedy, who actually testified. He's actually on the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Commission. Very powerful testimony, and you know, I feel good in the fact that Putnam County is doing everything we can under the direction of Mr. Bowling and his departments to make sure our kids are safe. So, and that whole meeting was about school safety. So I'll keep you up to date on that, but we are definitely making sure we cross our T's and dot our I's. Yeah.
Let me interject something,
Sure.
Mr. Superintendent, before I forget. If memory serves me correctly, one of the young ladies that was there during the Parkland tragedy took her
Actually, two of them.
to another one. And so it tells us that we have things in place to help our students. The mental health thing, it is real. And when students give us any sign or indication, we need to pick up on it and assist them as quickly as
A
possible.
parent of a child that was killed at Parkland has committed.
Actually,
Newtown.
Newtown. Newtown.
I knew it was one of them.
And we heard from the Newtown superintendent, by the way, who spoke to us. And again, we learn something every time, but I just want to let you know, and actually Thomas and I met with our lead counselor, Stephanie Wellen, who's doing a fabulous job. But I tell you, you can be proud of what our counselors are doing, our mental health counselors. And they have quite a caseload, but you know, we don't leave anything unturned, because just everything that's going on, we have to make sure that we don't neglect anything. So.
I listened to Ms. Wellen in the expulsion hearings this morning, and I had promised that I would try to get up with you, and maybe at some point you can update the board if you have any idea what may come down the pipe, if there's going to be any increase in funding for 7026, to see if we can add any more mental health or
Yeah, and we actually have gotten some numbers from both houses and the governor, so I think that's going to be, and we can share that with you, but I think, you know, we're on the right track there.
All right, Rick.
While I was in Tallahassee, some other things happened I just want to mention. At CELO, we actually hosted a delegation from Russia who came and witnessed our drone class.
No
Mr. Jim Neal is teaching that drone class.
No collusion.
No collusion, no. But they visited Nassau County and Putnam County as part of the STEM 2 hub. And so very pleased that our kids did a demonstration and international implications. So that's tremendous. Want to congratulate Tiffany Scranton, our assistant principal at Mellon, who was selected in the top 5 of assistant principals in the state.
Absolutely wonderful.
And Brian Helms, as you know, was also Principal of the Year, but he did not make the top 5. But Tiffany, we're very proud of what she accomplished. Want to mention to you, I have a handout for you. We have an educational career fair coming up in Clay County next month, April 25th. I'll pass this down. And we are really reaching out trying to recruit not only teachers, but all employees for our schools. And this will be an opportunity where they can come to the Thrasher Horn Center, any potential job applicants, and we'll have our HR staff there and give them information. And if they have any questions prior to that time, reach out to Ms. Whitehurst or Ms. Carroll in our HR department. I do want to mention that I met with our leadership team this week, and I've asked them to partner with each one of you, and they will get with you over this next month. As you know, we have 6 superintendent goals that we are focusing on here over the next several years. And we've talked about that. We've actually gone through a process where we've had our stakeholders come and review those goals, offer input, put sticky notes on the goals on things that they think need to be changed. So I've asked each of our team members to partner with you individually, and they each have a goal assigned to them, including me, and we're going to sit down with each of you, depending on whatever goal it is, and we want to hammer out looking at that input and refine that goal and actually try to do a rewrite of that goal and then come back and present that maybe at a board workshop. But just be expecting one of our team members to reach out to you over the next month for that process. Finally, I want to point out that I am very proud to announce that the Putnam County School District was recently awarded a continuation of the JFG grant, Job for Florida Graduates Grant, in the amount of $270,000.
Wow.
And great job, Dr. Coleman,
Thank
for
you,
helping us
Dr. Coleman.
secure that. But here's the good part about it. For the last, 2 or 3 years, we've had that in our high schools. It's been a tremendous step in improving our graduation rates. Now we'll have a class in each of our 3 middle schools.
Wonderful.
So we'll have that transition. We'll be able to target those students and help them be successful in 9th grade, where kids are really vulnerable. So all this is part of helping to increase our graduation rates, and it's been very successful. So this will help us fund individual teachers for those classes. And those teachers are on top of those kids, those most vulnerable kids, and they're on top of them to make sure they don't fall through the cracks. And that's why we're doing so well, is because those people are really engaging. South Putnam, don't forget about the Catfish Festival, April 6th. I'll be in the parade, hope you will too. And come eat some catfish. And finally, you mentioned Clay Supprell. We've had another Clay in the news, and his mother is one of our administrators, Clay McCool. Asher McCool's son, who actually graduated from our neighboring county, but he spent most of his time in Putnam County Schools and has a lot of his family in our community. But he is one of the managers for the Gator basketball team, and actually has been on national television
And Sports Illustrated.
and in Sports Illustrated. You stole my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Just can't help it.
I didn't mean to.
That's okay. We're both proud of him, and
Yeah.
he teaches those players how to play Uno.
Yeah,
right?
that was so funny.
But it's just good to see our
And
kids.
Jenny McCool takes credit for teaching Clay.
Right, right,
Got them everywhere.
I mean, Jenny Robbins.
right. So anyway, very proud of Clay and everything that our kids are doing. But athletics, again, helps our kids be successful in life.
Band, it doesn't matter, drones, every
dropout
school
program.
activity.
Yep.
Right. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all my comments.
Okay, all right. If there is nothing else to come before the board, we will take a 5-minute recess to adjourn so that we can prepare for executive session on collective bargaining.